Okay, 29.4. The goal of this worksheet today is to look at a problem and then determine what method you would use or what method would be most appropriate to use for each scenario. So here are some suggested methods. We have area models, simple multiplication, a tree diagram, or a list. So let's look at number 1. Lana's choosing between USC and UCLA for college next year. She's 80% certain she'll choose UCLA. If she does, she has a 60% chance, etc. So here, because we're given these options, a tree would be most appropriate. So let's start drawing out what that tree would look like. So she's choosing between USC and UCLA. So let's look at drawing two options, USC versus UCLA. And we're given that she's 80% certain she'll choose UCLA. So we'll put an 80% here. That means she's 20% sure that she'll choose USC. She's 80% sure she'll choose UCLA. If she does choose UCLA, she has a 60% chance of receiving a scholarship. So we'll say 60% chance of receiving a scholarship, which means a 40% chance of not receiving a scholarship. If she goes to USC, so now we're over here, she has a 50% chance of receiving a scholarship, which means she also has a 50% chance of not receiving a scholarship. So looking at the question here, what's the probability that Lana receives a scholarship? So we have two ways that she can receive a scholarship. This would be if she goes to USC and then she receives a scholarship. So we need to multiply vertically from here to here 20% times 50%. Or she could receive a scholarship after going to UCLA. So this probability would be 80% times 60%. Because there's more than one way she can receive a scholarship, we need to add those two probabilities together. Oops, this should be multiplication. We need to add both of those probabilities together. So here, this would be 10%, plus this would be 48%. So her total probability of receiving a scholarship is 58%. The second question is, what's the probability that Lana goes to USC and does not receive a scholarship? So that's more specific. If she goes to USC and she does not receive a scholarship, we need to multiply 20% times 50%. So 0.2 times 0.5, that would be 10%.